No.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mike Wilson, brought to you with Andesite Blue and also the studios, Toloka Studios and Productions. Tonight, we have a special guest, and I will be introducing you pretty soon. I also want to take a little time and give you an update. You know, things continually change from week to week in Ukraine. Because of the war that we're in, and you know, some adjustments are made, some lines are moved, and things like that. So I'd like to give you a little bit of an update from one of our guests that were here just a couple weeks ago. Remember that Aliona and Karina were here, and they were telling their story of being occupied territory of Ukraine by the Russians, and their escape. They made it here. They've been here for a couple weeks now. They're just making some adjustments and getting settled in, and at least it's a lot more peaceful and calm for them, and it's nice to see that part that they can have back in their life. But they still have family back in the occupied territory, and many times they lose communication because the internet is cut out, cell phone services are cut out, and it's really a horrible feeling when you can't reach somebody you love, or family members that you love and you can't get a hold of them. It just it drives me crazy. I remember my own children when I told them to be home at a certain time, and they did not show up at that time. It made me livid, because now, where are you? Why didn't you go up? And I'm trying to call you, no answer. I can't get a hold of them, and all those kinds of things. And you get this anxiety built up inside of you when your own children aren't where they're supposed to be. Well, we get these same anxieties when it's other family members, because this is real war, and it does cause death. There's no prettiness to war. But the update that I want to give you is that Aliona's and Karina's father was captured. So he is now a prisoner of war. He was captured behind the lines. There was no way for him to get out anyway. And we want to lift our prayers up for him, for his safety as a POW. And hope that he'll be part of the trade of soldiers that can be released from that, or that really this war will end and all of our prisoners can come back and all of our soldiers can come back to Ukraine. But anyway, I just wanted to give you that update. And it is really relevant to our evening topic because the whole south up to Kherson is occupied, south and the east, along the Donbass, and the whole Azov Sea area is completely under Russian control. I know there's a lot of fighting. We're beginning to do some activities in those areas and trying to liberate certain cities and villages. But tonight, our guest also comes from the Kherson Oblast region and has some family there. So we'll be talking about that. But there's a lot to her story that we're going to be going over. So without any further ado, I would like to introduce you to Luba. So welcome, Luba.
Good evening, everyone. Nice to meet you, and I hope that you live with trust in our future and victory. This is very important.
Yes, it is, and that's what we hope for every day. We hope that someday, some morning we're going to wake up and we're going to get the good news that it is over, and that Russians are kicked out of our country. So, Luba, I'd like for you just to tell me a little bit about you. What you do, how long you've lived in Kiev, just things like that, and then we'll get into February 24th.
Okay, so I was born in Kherson, where now my parents, and I live in Kiev almost 20 years, so...
Wow, okay, so yes. This is your home. So.
Yeah, already my home. Yeah. I have a partner here. So before all the situation in Ukraine, like when was peace, I have my agency and organize events in sphere of design and architecture. So it is like was events with invitation designers and architects. So
okay.
I had amazing job because very active, very bright, and my job had very good possibility to travel, to meet new people, new clients. So really, I love it. But
now, real quick before we go on, so design can be many things. It could be a clothing designer. You could be architectural designer. It could be an interior decorator designer. So what was yours?
So my job was that I was like key between customers and designers. For example, if you have apartment or house.
So this is construction design. This is
like it.
like
yes.
like remodeling and
yes.
different. Okay,
Like,
okay,
correct.
Very good. It's it's my field. I'm a builder. I build the
Nice.
homes. Yes, yes. So
Nice.
it's nice to actually have a conversation with somebody who's been in my industry. So.
Perfect.
So very good. All right. So everything was going good. It was beautiful. You loved your job.
Yes, for sure. Still, I love my job. And I hope the situation will be good again.
Yes, and I believe it will. But right now, I mean, it's a little difficult. So what happened to you on February 24th?
Okay, so still I remember 23 February I had confirmation from my client for an event. So I started like to plan date, scenario, so everything. And I remember that it was about maybe 4:30. It was call from my mom. I was sleepy because it was very, very early, as I told before, 4:30. So my mom called me and told me, Lyubushka, it is like very kind. She called me Lyubushka. My dear, war started. Mom, what? What war? I'm asleep.
And you hung up on your mom?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
My mom called again and repeated again. So after I remembered, like I switched on TV and I started to see everything and watch everything. And for sure, I think as every person in Ukraine, I couldn't trust what had happened. Because I remember before, maybe 2 weeks ago, before, some clients from USA, also from Italy, also some of my friends told me, Luba, you need to move because maybe there will be war. But I smiled, come on, what war? Here everything is quiet.
Yes, yes.
So, but Vega, no, Luba, trust us, you must leave. But for sure, I think nobody in Ukraine couldn't trust in it. Nobody.
No, it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense to me either. They were telling me the same thing. My sons were telling me, Dad, get out, get out. My youngest son had some of the highest security in the military because he worked for the president in the military. And so he had resources. And he was telling me, Dad, get out now, and he just kept saying that. And so, I mean, he was right, but in the other sense, obviously, it wasn't like Donbass, and it wasn't like in the south where Russia just walked in and occupied those southern territories. There was actual fight and war going on here in Kiev. So at 04:30, you got this call from your mom. Now think about 05:20 was the first bomb in Kiev, and you heard that, right?
Yes, I heard, but I remember still I was a little under shock. So sure, I feel I was a little afraid for sure. It is not normally. It is not normally. So I started to think what can be after. And I remember I took my pets and I went to walk with my pets. And I started to look around on street and understand what happened. And some people were on street, but I remember not so a lot of people were.
Yes, the streets were starting to empty
outside,
out. Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
And after some my friends started again to call me. So Luba was started. So you must move. But I remember. I replied, no, but where I can, I don't know where I can move. So because still my brain maybe couldn't accept this fact that it happened.
Yeah, yes.
No, it is like a frozen state.
Yes, yeah.
So like ice cream. So not really like ice cream, like frozen, but step by step, more
everything melting.
melting.
Yes, yes.
So you still your brain still frozen. and you try to understand what will be stayed like inside yourself, what you accept with fact.
Yes, yes. Yeah, now with me, because I'm a military man, I knew the reality of it. So there was no part of frozen, but I have a daughter in Obolon. And and so on the first day, the 24th, they bombed Borspil, and then the airport. That was the first explosion, and then the explosions in north and Obolon, north of Obolon there. Of course, then in Bucha, we could start hearing a little bit, but not so much. But there was a definite fighting going on. In this area right here where we're at, a little bit north of that, there was fighting. And then the next day, Friday, and that was getting more and more intense. I believe, and I don't know for sure, but I think on Saturday is when I went to grab my daughter from Obolon, because I knew that I knew that they were coming from the north. I knew that she was at the highest risk, and I needed to take her down to my area and my apartment. So I grabbed her mom and my daughter. At that time, Russian tanks had actually entered into Obolon, and when we were walking, because I got there by metro, I grabbed them, but they were in disbelief too. The mom was in disbelief. Grandma and Grandpa, no, that just happened just before we walked across there. And then I had to go to Pachina. Finally, Pachina was open, and I could get them out of there. So that's when it got really, really intense. And I'm sure at this point now you're beginning to feel reality.
Yeah, for sure. No, for sure. Because
the ice cream melted.
Because if you switch on TV and all channel shows or same news, really it is awful situation. It is awful because before you lived in peace, you planned something, some trips, some your business, and just very, very fast one day all your plans destroyed.
Yes.
Really, it's because you don't know what will be tomorrow.
Correct.
So you live just today because you don't know. Maybe some rocket came to your building and you hi, hello, my God.
Yeah. And it did happen to some buildings in Kiev, where the rockets hit the side of the building. So we know it's possible, and we don't know if it's ever going to be ours, So now, when you did decide to go ahead and leave Kiev.
Okay, so it was decision under some pressing because I have a friend. She is married with Italian man in Italy.
Okay.
So and she started to call me on Viber and propose to move to Italy. But still, I couldn't decide to do it because I worry very much about how my pets, because I couldn't take my pets, and I worry about my parents. Because you understand, I couldn't know how long the situation can be.
Correct.
But after, so as I remember, it was 5th March, so finally I decided, and by car with some of my friends, it was my lucky because my friends same time decided to move to Italy. So and by car we decided to move.
So you went by car?
Yes, correct.
Wow.
Correct. It was my lucky because I saw what happened at railway station, because all trains
We went to railroad station.
totally full.
Yes.
It was terrible situation.
Yes.
I saw how moms with small kids were in trains, and not one day, it was several days. It was without some
There's no
comfortable.
food, there's no water. I mean, if you didn't bring it,
But our trip was really long because you understand, you couldn't move on highway, so you should find another way, like escape Russian army. And our trip was about, as I remember, 3 days. I remember that I moved in Italy 8 March for Women's Day.
Was that Women's Day?
So, but
that's a day I don't remember at all.
But I didn't, honestly, I didn't feel that it was really Women's Day, because really, it was terrible. It was terrible because...
you want to know a story about Women's Day? It's called International Women's Day, right?
Yeah, correct.
It's not really International Women's Day. It's Soviet Women's Day. Nowhere in the world does the world celebrate Women's Day. Only in the Soviet and the post-Soviet countries.
But I like it.
I know. The women love it. Yeah, they adore it. And it's like, of course, it's attention. And
Yes.
I get it.
Yes.
But it's interesting that it comes from that time. And, of course, it's that culture of people that are attacking our country. So it does hard to celebrate that and feel that. So
Yeah.
I understand. But I thought I would just, share that information. So you're 8th of March and you finally are in Italy.
Yes, I remember that I was destroyed. Really, I was destroyed because it was long trip. It was big traffic. It is not. It was normal situation because a lot of people wanted to escape. And I remember, it is one thing. I love Italy very much because usually, if it was for peaceful time, I feel very relaxing.
It's a vacation,
like vacation. Finally, I take maybe wine or prosecco or maybe something another. But if you escape of war and you come to Italy, you can't feel relaxing there, because you think about your land, about your parents, about your home, what situation right now in your country. And first 2 weeks, as I remember, or first maybe 3 weeks, I was very nervous. I was in a so stressful state, and when I called my mom, every day I ask Mom, how you, how situation,
yes.
how you. And after maybe, I think, after maybe in 2 weeks, Kherson was occupied by Russian army.
Became occupied, yeah.
Yes.
I know there was quite a resistance. Even the people rose up against Russia, but eventually Russia did fully occupy Kherson, yes.
Yeah, correct. And my state was more stressful.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, and can you imagine that even I remember 2 times I remember I had a connection with my parents. I think people who had similar situation, they can understand me, because if you had a connection with your like lovely people, doesn't matter, husband, boyfriend, parents, daughter,
Yes.
son, like you feel like very stressful. What happened? Why no connection? Maybe something happened. And it is like our mentality, maybe not mentality, but always in this situation, we start to think about something bad.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
I don't either.
I don't know why.
Silence is the devil's workshop. They say idle hands is the devil's workshop, but silence just allows your thoughts to run wild, and you think the worst. You don't think the best.
Yeah, correct. But always our brain, like, no, just think about bad. I don't know why, really.
Because why can't get a hold of him? What's happened to him? But and of course it is war. And all of a sudden, connection is lost, and you don't know.
Correct.
So it's a natural cause, and everybody goes through it.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about. You said that you get medicine for your parents.
Correct.
So tell me a little bit about that now, because they don't have access to medicine there under occupied.
So situation in Kherson now terrible, because it was humanitarian help from Europe to Kherson, but our Russian army stopped it, and I remember stole something from these cars, and after we decided to resell it for our Ukrainian people. It is not like humanitarian help.
Yes.
We decided to resale for our Ukrainian people. Why I decided to buy medicine in Italy for my parents? Because a lot of pharmacies in Kherson already are closed.
Yes.
And it is limits medicine for people, because it is impossible to bring medicine in Kherson. Again, because of Russian people.
Right.
Russian people decided to come and say, no, this is my home. So I decided I want it. It is like, I come to your apartment and I'm like, move. Now it is my apartment. I want it.
It looks nice. I want it. Yes.
Really, it is like it. So, and now I think how to deliver medicine to Kherson. It is my big question. And I found volunteers in Odessa. My sister gave me contact, and I decided, step by step, not all medicine that I bought to bring to Kherson. If everything will be good, so after again, I bring with volunteers medicine for my parents.
Very good. Okay. Well, I really hope that goes through. I know that there are organizations that do take the medicines and needed things inside, and they have their ways of doing it. And I'm sure that some Russians at the borders or the guard stages get paid.
Not paid, so. Just if volunteers came with special security post. So all volunteers show list of medicine or another list. And as volunteers told me, they try to check everything. Check everything. I hope everything will be good.
I hope so too.
But even now, I have a connection with my parents. I mobile connection. I just call on Viber or Telegram. So if people in Kherson have internet, we have connection.
Yes.
But if no internet, it is impossible by mobile connection to talk with some family.
So you have some quiet times that you can't talk to your parents right now.
Yeah, right now, but I don't know what will be, because it is good already. Our Ukrainian army near to Kherson. I'm just afraid what can be similar situation what in Bucha or Hostomel, because where our army started to set this territory free. So you remember
it was very bloody. It was just brutal.
It was like agony of Russian army. Okay, if no army of Ukraine, so it's civilians.
Yeah.
Because
on their way out, they were
yes.
just, yeah.
I just worry about it, but I try to be optimistic. I try to build my brain just for best moments, for good moments, and I think about good.
There you go. Well, that's good. That's, I mean, we have to force ourselves to think that way. You know, in the morning, sometimes we're not in a very good mood, but people who are able to, talk to themselves and to pick themselves up and say, the day does not dictate my mood. I dictate my mood.
Yeah,
I decide what kind of mood I'm going to have.
Correct.
And those people who are able to do that have more success in their life and more positive surroundings and people around them and stuff. So it's good. It's good to have. And of course, I also believe the same. That will be, because Kherson was my also number one focus on wanting to free and liberate, because it's a real pivotal point for the whole thing going on with Russia, but to liberate Kherson it's going to be like a death blow. It's going to be like cutting the jugular vein to Russia, because it'll at that point it'll bleed out, because it just realizes it cannot hold on to the territories of Ukraine. So, but we do pray for the people there that are suffering. The medicines are extremely important to get. People with diabetes, people with heart disease, people with different things that they have to have these medications to stay healthy.
Yeah, but a lot of maybe a lot of, but some young people decided to stay in Kherson. Some young people decided to stay in Kherson. So we had a choice to move, but we decided to stay.
Mm-hmm.
So I respect it. It is really good. My parents, old people, I hope everything will be good. So every morning, that I think this situation inside our country change everyone in Ukraine. Everyone change.
Yes.
Now Ukraine like number one in the world.
It's a focus. It's the center of the world. Yes.
Because it is funny. I remember last year I came to Italy, and some people asked me, "But where is in Ukraine?" I was surprised. Come on, you don't know where is in Ukraine? But right now, everyone, everywhere knows who is Ukrainian people, where is Ukraine, and I'm proud to be Ukrainian, because Ukraine never be like Russia. We are different.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we are. That's exactly right. And I figured that out since 2006 when I was introduced to Ukraine. I could, just in culture-wise, just the personality-wise.
Correct.
There's more of a soft or more humility in a Ukrainian versus a Russian, who is just full of pride and arrogance and like a bulldozer. Ukrainians, very strong people, but they're kind. They're friendly.
We're kind outside, but with strong spirit inside.
Correct. Yeah, very resourceful.
We like freedom.
Yes.
We are ready to fight for our freedom.
Yes. And that's why Ukraine stands, and that's why Ukraine is able to repel against a monster and a beast like Russia.
Yeah.
So, and that is true. It's all spirit and heart, that really is winning this war.
Yeah.
So, which is really good. So now you were in Italy for how many months?
I was in Italy 3 months.
3 months.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a vacation.
Before this date 24, maybe I thought about vacation, but right now no.
Yes.
Because I'm grateful God, because every morning I woke up in Italy and I thought, thank you God that I'm alive.
Mm-hmm.
I'm alive, and I don't hear like this, it's like sirens. I can see bombs. I can see sunny, peaceful, very important, peaceful days.
Yes.
So, my friends, I'm grateful them very, very much. Every day, they tried to take me somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Just for short time, to close my eyes from situation in Ukraine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and step by step, like I was where I started to be like more calm,
Yes,
and every day I started to think, okay, Luba, everything will be good, must be good, no, must be good situation because we are strong country, we have I think, best army, like our country. And thanks Europe and USA that for support for sure.
Yes,
It is very important. And I come back here because I need deliver medicine for my parents. And also I miss Kiev because I love Kiev very much. And a lot of friends come back to Kiev also.
Yes, yeah. No, I mean, I was happy that you came back. I know we've stayed in touch the whole time, and we communicated. I was followed you on Instagram, so I saw your posts, and I saw that your friends were taking you around in different parts of Italy. But it's an interesting decision to come back, and the motivation to come back. I mean, of course, pets are like family to us. I mean,
for sure.
You have 2 dogs
like
and 2
kids.
cats, right?
Correct, you remember it.
And and each one has their own personality. I mean, we know, they're part of us. But again, we still have family. We have. You said you have a sister. And she's in Odessa, so you have family in Ukraine, and your passion and desire, and of course your love for Kiev. And I told you that Kiev is calm and quiet, and other people were telling you this. Stores are opening up, and the restaurants are opening up, and also it's becoming more normalized. It's getting busier. The streets are getting busier with cars and people.
But even yesterday, like I went in center. I went with my friends for dinner, and I saw this Hollywood actor from USA.
Ben Stiller.
Yeah, it was amazing. Like, what? I need my photo. I need my photo.
I was really pleased with Ben just coming and supporting. He spent time with President Zelensky.
Yeah.
They're both Jewish, and they're both actors, and they're both comedian actors.
Oh, nice.
So they have very much a lot in common, other than one's a president and the other one isn't. But I've appreciated Ben Stiller's movies.
Yeah.
And so seeing him was really nice, and he's a humble man. He was
Correct.
a kind,
very kind
gentleman.
Yeah, very kind.
And it was nice. It was pleasant.
Yeah.
I know Angelina Jolie was here a couple weeks ago.
In Lviv, yes, and Kiev also maybe.
I think, yes, she made it to Kiev. I didn't get a chance to see her, but running into Ben was just by accident. It was just he happened to be there, and it's like, wow, hey Ben, I love you. I said, I love your work and everything. Thank you for coming and supporting Ukraine. Do you mind if I get a photo with you? And so I got the photo also.
But you see, it is so this war may be just one small reason that a lot of people, like also first person from all world, started to come to Kiev for support.
Yes.
And a lot of actors everywhere in the world support Ukraine.
Yes.
Like singers, a lot of singers before concert, like we supported Ukraine with our flag.
And they're right, and what I like is that when they do things, they're actually also helping to donate to Ukraine, to help support the humanitarian aids. So I mean, it is a blessing to see that. And what I was going to say about Angelina Jolie is that she was also very humble. She allows people to touch her. She allows people to come up to her, and that's really special because they're in front of the TV all the time. I mean, people are chasing them with cameras, and every day their whole life is like that. I mean, it could wear you out, but to see them being humble and allow themselves to be a blessing in someone else's life, and even to give a little selfie, just give somebody a little smile, that they give that for them, for the public and the communities, and so when they come here, it's a blessing to see them to want to help and to raise awareness. And also to raise money. I mean, Angelina Jolie was also involved in raising funds and bringing money to Ukraine for the humanitarian aid.
Yes.
So we do appreciate those in America and those prominent people, sports champions, and stars and things like that, the athletes that come here and do the same. So it is a blessing around the world. So your country, mine too. I mean, I'm a resident here. I'm not by birth, but yours is by birth. Is as I know, really will shine. And it's nice to see everybody in support of it. And when the war is over, I know it's going to be a big celebration because I know people from all over the world are going to come to celebrate with us.
Yeah.
And there'll be lots of bottles of champagne and prosecco opening up at that time.
It will be good, really. It will be good.
It will. And we believe in that. And we believe in the...
Trust is very, very important thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because we must trust. It is very important because without trust, impossible. So every day we must be grateful for something, as minimum for our life, for our life. And we should trust in our victory because Ukraine deserves it.
It does, yeah, absolutely. It absolutely does. Ukraine has been fighting for 1,100 years for its freedom, and it goes through losses and it goes through gains, and it loses territory and then it gets its territory back, and it is the struggle in the history of Ukraine, but the heart and the fortitude within each soul of Ukrainians just doesn't die, but it's beautiful to see such a humble people that are strong and they don't ask for anything, they just want to live in peace, and they want to be in peace with everybody else. They're very open to people from outside of their country. They're very friendly. So it's very pleasant and pleasing. And that's one of the joys that I have of being in Ukraine. When I moved here, and even when I came here back in 2015 and served in the military to train the military, when I came here as a visitor in 2012, when I was introduced in 2006, I learned about the culture and the people of Ukraine, and it just became more beautiful the more time I spent in Ukraine. And of course, now I live here, and it's my home, and Kiev is my home. It's a beautiful city. I couldn't really live in a village. That's not how I'm built. I grew up in Los Angeles, so I kind of have to have that energy and that large environment of and many people. So I'm thankful, Luba, for coming this evening and joining me on this on the program and just sharing your story. I want to give people a chance to see the different attributes of souls, because everybody goes through something different.
Thank you for invitation, and thank you for your program, because I think it is very important to explain people and to share trust between our people.
Yes, and if I run into Ben one more time, I'm going to have an emergency Taloka program. I'm going to have see if I can get him onto the studio here. Would be fantastic. So that would be a blessing. But anyway, I was just thankful for Ben Stiller and for him being here.
Yeah.
I'm not sure when he's leaving. I don't know if he leaves today, tomorrow, whenever. But if by chance if we run into him, I'm going to see if I can get an interview and his take on Kiev and Ukraine, since now he's been in Ukraine and had a chance to see it. So thank you for joining us this evening. God bless you all. May you all be at peace, and may you be strong when you need to be. I'm thankful for you as an audience, and I'm thankful for my guests, and just really thankful to be in Ukraine. Slava Ukraina.
Slava Ukraini.
Okay.